Austin Jackson, the Augusta Guy, and my team is proud to be the official injury lawyers of the Augusta Green Jackets. The Augusta Guy, supporting Augusta's team and all those who call the CSRA home. Call Austin Jackson, 706-724-7224.
When you visit or work with Parker's Kitchen, your support makes a difference. You've helped us rank as best workplace in America. None of this happens without you.
Thank you.
Live from Augusta, you're watching News 12 live at 5.
Damage lingers in Langley one day after a confirmed EF1 tornado. This is what the fire station there looks like tonight. Recovery far from over, but thankfully no one was killed or even hurt. Good evening, I'm Meredith Anderson. Riley, we are not done with the storms just yet. We're tracking the chance for more tonight through tomorrow. So that's what you're showing right now on your First Alert Radar Network. What can we expect?
Well, the good news is, Meredith, the Storm Prediction Center does not have us underneath a severe weather threat today or tomorrow. So what we should see for the rest of today and tomorrow, just generic showers and thunderstorms. Everything is behaving at the moment. We don't have any current watches in effect, no warnings in effect. So a current look across the region, we definitely have this cumulus cloud cover that's been bubbling up, and it has been producing some rain, but the better dynamics to see severe weather staying a little bit further north, closer to where that warm front is, currently bringing that active weather for southern Virginia and northern North Carolina. For us here locally, once again, no warnings that we're currently tracking, but even though the Storm Prediction Center doesn't have us underneath the severe weather threat today, can't rule out some of these storms maybe briefly produce a stronger wind gusts, and lightning always a hazard with thunderstorms, so make sure you are staying inside if you're starting to hear thunder. Looking at a decent little complex just passed through Washington County, still impacting northern Washington County now towards Warren County. Warrenton, get heads up for you. Got some steady rain about to move in. Closer look further south, you can see near Sylvania, they got a couple downpours there. Also near Sardis and Girard, just a couple of bubble up downpours. So there is some rain out there if you're heading out the next few hours. Quick look at Radar Network and the rest of the week's forecast in just about 7 minutes.
All right, thank you, Riley. It's not just Langley still reeling from that storm. This is video out of Allendale. You can see floodwaters inches deep, meeting people at their doorsteps. We're on your side with a traffic alert tonight as South Carolina DOT has shut down parts of the highway, parts of Highway 3 and Highway 278 due to flooding. We're showing you a map of those closures now. You can see the roads highlighted in red. Those are the ones closed. They include River Road, Bo Peep Road, and Hannah Street. You can keep a check on road closures in South Carolina on this website. We have it linked for you on our website and our WRDW app. Another traffic alert for you tonight. Landing Road in Aiken is also closed due to flooding. Aiken County government shared this photo of the closure. You're urged to avoid that area and take a different route. Live at 5, a petition to bring back safety improvements to Diamond Lakes Regional Park. Behind us, what the park looks like right now. But as your Sydney Hood has learned, months from now, it could look very different.
Well, that's the hope of one South Augusta neighbor I spoke to, Frank Howard. He's been going to Diamond Lakes Park for about 10 years. He tells me he goes out there to watch his 8-year-old grandson play rec football. He saw some things that were not working, so he decided to get to work. He tells me in 35 days, he got more than 1,700 signatures in a petition to see improvement at the park. But let's break down what he wants to see changed, as well as everyone else that signed this petition. Starting with the lights, Frank noticed this need while watching his 8-year-old grandson play football at Diamond Lakes. He says that as he would leave these football games, it would be dark outside. On your screen, those skid marks right there. He took me to some parking lots in the park where he says that people would be doing donuts in the park, so he wants to request some concrete medians be placed in these parking lots. And some concrete sidewalks on both sides of Diamond Lakes Way is another thing that he requested to commissioners today. He's doing all of this not only to bring these improvements to the park, but to bring some safety to the neighborhoods around Diamond Lakes Park.
Need that Diamond Lake Park. I saw that I was out there with my grandson, and he was playing red football, and it was so dark outside. We only had one pole support the field, and then when the game was over with, you had people parking up beside the street. Well, it was just dark.
And that was Howard you just heard from right there. He took his concerns to city leaders who actually agreed with him. There were some commissioners saying that there are much needed improvements that need to come to Diamond Lakes.
Now, did commissioners hear him out?
They did. Commissioner Brandon Garrett was saying that he hopes that this conversation kind of gets the ball rolling for these improvements. So they tasked the city administrator and the Parks and Rec director to meet and then report back to commissioners in about 2 weeks.
And we know that you will stay on this and you'll be watching. Thanks for that, Sydney. Also at Commission, city leaders just approved a company to perform an audit of the Housing and Community Development Department. Now, this comes as its current director, Hawthorne Welcher, is on leave after claims of misused money. City officials had to repay more than $6 million in unspent grant money to the federal government. This audit will take a close look at that. In fact, it will check to see where all HCD grant funds went during 2023 and 2024. City leaders say the audit will cost at most $63,000. City leaders also discussed hiring a professional tree surgeon. Now, this is a bird's eye view and, of course, a ground view of naked plots downtown on Broad Street. Plots once lined with trees. The arborist would make decisions about removing trees and shrubs from now on. He or she would also be in charge of planting any future trees. Commissioner Catherine Rice says she's received a lot of complaints about recent tree removals. She says the city can't afford to cut any more trees down, especially after losing so many in Hurricane Helene. Commissioners decided to talk about that again at the next meeting. We'll be watching that too. Tonight, the fight continues as some who use the Columbia County Library push back on plans to withdraw from the system. Now, as you can see, it was a packed house during a meeting today. All this after county leaders announced the library is becoming its own region. Columbia County Manager Scott Johnson says the reason for the separation is to keep certain books out of the kids section. Johnson ensures library goers the new system will continue to operate under the Pine system. That means you will still have access to statewide resources such as Galileo, but some still have questions and concerns.
It would surely have limited materials offered, slashed funding from the state of Georgia, and increased our burden as taxpayers. Why even consider this withdrawal possibility of less choice and more expense?
In case you had trouble hearing her, she was worried about the tax burden on taxpayers with less choice and more steps. That next meeting, it is scheduled for June 10th. Within the last few hours, we've learned the name of a man found dead in a condemned home today. The Richmond County Coroner's Office identified him as David Grigg. We're showing you video of the Harding Road area where deputies say they found Grigg. They say his friend showed them where he was. Deputies say his body was in front of the home, one of the front rooms there. The Coroner's Office described the building as, quoting here, unsafe, nasty, and uninhabitable. Bond denied for the Florida State student accused of a deadly shooting on campus. That shooting happened nearly Augusta, Richmond County. If you live or work in Augusta, Richmond County, even if you just visit, here's some news you can use. The city wants your input on how the area should look. Questions include your top priorities for downtown Augusta and maybe even some struggles you might experience. You can give your 2 cents on the zoning ordinance update survey, and we're showing it to you right now. The survey has 11 questions. You can fill it out from now until June 1st. We have the survey linked on our website and WRDW app. Just search zoning ordinance if you would like to have your voice heard. Still ahead, South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster signs 2 major bills into law just before the deadline. We break down how the bills will help keep the lights on and maybe save restaurants from lawsuits. Riley?
Well, we are keeping an eye on our radar network for a few thunderstorms the rest of today and again tomorrow, but we finally start to dry out by Thursday and Friday, and then the heat kicks back in. We'll have much more for you just after a break.
Time and Temp, brought to you by your First Alert weather team.
Together, Parker's Kitchen and our customers raised over $300,000 last year to help our partner Wrdw project. So thank you for rounding up at checkout. Your change really does make a change.
Carrier, turn to the experts.
Fish delish, fish delish. China whitefish, it's kicking. A new you're craving, and Pops can decide just $6.99. Amazing. Captain D's fish delish.
For the best in unique men's sportswear, formal wear, outerwear, shoes, accessories, and more, follow Lionel Smith Limited on social media, and we'll share the very latest trends and in-store events. Lionel Smith, limited to only the finest in men's clothing.
We're back live at 5 with a live look over Riverwatch Parkway and I-20 just outside our station. Riley, that is a really nice shot. I love the sun peeking through, especially after the weather we've had to start the week off, so we'll take it.
Absolutely. Finally got a little peek of sunshine or two out there today, so definitely a change of pace from the very cloudy and wet conditions that we've had over the last several days. As you saw in that picture just outside of our studio, some darker skies in the background. There are a few isolated storms out there for the rest of today that will stick around up until about midnight tonight. Luckily, the severe weather threat looks very low today and tomorrow. By Thursday, we're drying out, and then we're talking about some summer-like heat to close out the week. Temperatures getting well into the 90s by Friday. Here's a look at our radar network. We are tracking some complexes of downpours out there. Nothing severe at the moment. This one complex we're looking at moving out of Washington County towards Warren and Glasscock County. That's continuing to move east towards us here in Augusta, so likely showing up within an hour or two. So if you have evening plans, keeping that 20% chance of rain in effect through at least midnight tonight. So just a heads up, some hit or miss pop-up showers, thunderstorms will definitely be possible out there. Luckily, once again, the severe weather chances do look low. There's a live look from our Grovetown camera looking westbound down I-20. You can see that's where those darker skies are found, as we just saw on radar, that complex moving towards Glasscock and Warren County. That's what we're looking at right there. Temperature is 80 degrees right now. We've been as high as about 84 this afternoon, so very seasonal for this time of year. Not expecting a huge warm up or cool down tomorrow, and we'll continue that chance for a hit or miss thunderstorm throughout the day on Wednesday. So another day, unfortunately, not looking completely dry for us, and going to have to keep an eye to the sky for some of those storms throughout the day tomorrow. Once we get into Thursday, we're finally starting to dry out. Our closed upper level low that's brought us just continuous rain chances since last Friday, that finally moves out tomorrow. So we'll continue that chance for a storm Wednesday, but much drier outlook Thursday and Friday. By the time we get to the weekend, cannot rule out maybe an isolated afternoon shower, thunderstorm. Doesn't look to be a washout, though, so I definitely keep your outdoor plans if you have them Saturday or Sunday. Here's a look at our 7-day forecast for the weekend. Those high temps will stay close to 90 degrees, so definitely going to be feeling more summer-like for us. Once we get to next week, 90s sticking around for a little while.
All right, thank you, Riley. Governor Henry McMaster has now signed 2 major bills into law. One, to ensure South Carolina has enough power to keep the lights on, and the other, to help struggling bars and restaurants. They are among the top priorities that lawmakers had during this year's legislative session. Your Shade House reporter Mary Green explains what these will mean for South Carolinians.
Just before the legislative session ended here at 5 p.m. on Thursday, senators finalized a compromise late Wednesday night on one of the top priorities for the year. It's an agreement between the Senate's tort reform bill and the House's liquor liability bill that just last week, one leading lawmaker said was going to take a miracle to get done.
This represents an awful lot of hard work. This legislation is fair from all sides.
Part of the bill aims to address skyrocketing liquor liability insurance costs that have made it unaffordable for many bars and restaurants across the state to stay open. The compromise keeps in place a 2017 requirement that bars and restaurants that serve alcohol maintain a $1 million liability policy. But they will offer new opportunities for them to lower that amount if they meet certain steps, like if they stop serving alcohol before midnight. This agreement will also enact mandatory alcohol server training and other steps designed to reduce premiums.
Well, this is a step in the right direction.
The compromise also keeps a major component of the Senate's tort reform bill, joint and several liability, which deals with which parties can be held responsible in lawsuits. As part of that, it amended an existing carve-out in state law that put bars and restaurants on the hook for a significantly outsized portion of damages in drunk driving lawsuits.
What happens is the bar gets sued, they get stuck with all the damages, even though there's clearly a drunk driver who contributed to the plaintiff's injuries. They get stuck with 100% of it. What this would do is it would cap it at 50% as opposed to 100.
While Sender's original bill included several more topics like medical malpractice and auto insurance, they were all dropped from the final version, with a promise the House would take up these issues next year. The bill next heads to Governor Governor Henry McMaster, who is expected to sign it into law. Most of it would go into effect January 1st of next year. Reporting from the State House, I'm Mary Green.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, Augusta leaders are closing the Riverwalk starting tomorrow. It's not for good, it's just for 2 weeks while crews work to clean it up. The Saturday market will still go on, though, during its normal hours. You still have time to support fallen Columbia County Deputy Brandon Sykes and wounded Deputy Gavin White. Tomorrow from 4 p.m. until 6 o'clock, Ziggy's Coffee on Fury's Ferry Road will donate all proceeds to the families of Sykes and White. Then on Thursday, both El Rey locations will donate 15% of all day sales in support of the deputies. Coming up, a local elementary school on their way to compete in a national convention. We'll tell you what they are in the run for when we come back.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
We've helped injured people
Since 1986.
Hey guys, it's Anna Christina here for Roof Savers. Over time, vinyl siding on your home can become faded and dull looking due to exposure to sunlight, weather, and other environmental factors. This is a natural process that can occur with any type of siding material. Roof Savers now offers a process that can extend the life of your existing siding by 10 years, and it's called Renew It. I'm here with Russell Beckham. He's one of the owners of Roof Savers. Russell, tell us about the Renew It process and how it can save homeowners big money on their siding versus the replacement or painting.
Oxidation is the main contributor to the deterioration of siding. We will clean the surface to remove unsightly oxidation and apply Renew It to the surface to extend the life of siding while bringing back the color to light new.
And Renew It works on other surfaces as well.
And that's right. Renew It can be applied to many types of siding, such as vinyl and aluminum siding, hardy board, and even stucco to bring the color back to light new and prevent the surface from further deterioration for 10 years.
And seeing is believing when it comes to Renew It. The before and after pictures are amazing. Save your siding from full replacement or messy painting. Add an additional 10 years of life to your home's exterior with Renew It.
You can check us out online at myroofsavers.com.
Roof Savers, save your roof, save your siding, save your money.
There are over 1 billion reasons.
Welcome back in, folks. Luckily, the storms we're looking at today are behaving at the moment. No current warnings, no watches, no even special weather statements out for these storms. But we're going to keep a close eye on them. Cannot rule out maybe one or two produce a stronger wind gust out there. But right now, we're looking at the best little complex moving through Warren County and getting closer towards McDuffie County next. And this is gradually going to make its way towards the Savannah River for us here around Augusta, North Augusta, and even Evans and Martinez. So a heads up, some rain is out there. It will be possible for the rest of this evening into tonight up until about midnight. Once we get after the midnight hour, most of this does clear out. Tomorrow morning, maybe an isolated shower around the region, but I would say we have a little bit better chance to see a shower or thunderstorm later into the afternoon, especially even Wednesday evening. This is going to be a complex moving out of the mountains here, so another opportunity for more wet weather, unfortunately, heading into our Wednesday, even Wednesday night. But finally, by the time we get to Thursday, we're talking about nothing but dry weather and sunshine. High temperatures will be warmer by Thursday, hitting the upper 80s, low to mid 90s by Friday, and that's going to be with a good bit of cloud cover out there. Once we get into the weekend, high temps will stay above average near 90, and with just a little bit of humidity in the air, can't rule out maybe a pop-up shower or storm later into those afternoons for the weekend. Next week stays hot, highs in the low 90s next Monday and Tuesday.
All right, thank you, Riley. More than $13,000 are helping fund a field trip for the Beta Club at Carver Elementary School. That is thanks to a grant from SRP Federal Credit Union. We're showing you pictures of that check presentation yesterday. The sponsorship will support the club's upcoming trip to the National Junior Beta Convention in Florida. 19 students will join other Beta Club members from schools across the country to compete. Best of luck to all of them. We're on your side with another traffic alert tonight as we give you a live look at I-20 at Grovetown. You can expect lane closures from Columbia Road to the I-20 diverging Diamond until Friday. It is part of the roadway widening project for Lewiston Road. Those closures will be from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Of course, you're told to expect delays and take a different route if you can. Tomorrow, the Augusta VA will host a Veterans Expo. That event connects veterans with benefits, and It will help them file claims. There will also be a hiring fair, workshops, and clinics on site. The expo is from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the W.T. Johnson Center. That event is free to attend. Riley.
Well, the UV index is going to be going up. It's going to be running in the very high range over the next several days. But once we start to get a little bit more cloud cover Friday into the weekend, it will drop down just a little bit. But protect yourself from the sun if you're going to be out and about. Now, a quick look at radar and that 7-day just after the break.
If one of these bad boys crashes into you, their insurance company is going to try to settle with you quickly, but for a lot less. I'm attorney Ken Nugent, and this is my outstanding team.
Hi.
We're known for moving pretty quickly ourselves. Getting your money fast is crucial for your recovery, so we go for the maximum settlement possible. Faster. How fast, you ask? One call, that's all.
Watch Ken call. CallKen.com.
It's payback time.
Our space was
Families soon.
Tonight, a local lucky Georgia lottery winner is taking home $80,000. The Appling Player run Royal Jumbo Bucks on Saturday. One run. I tell you what, that was a tongue twister. But that person has 180 days to claim their prize. So this is the big deal here. A big congratulations to them. So if you're the lucky person, you better get moving. This weekend, prepare for loud booms and fireworks in the skies. That's because Thunder over Evans is happening this Saturday at 6 o'clock. We're showing you video of last year's turnout. There will be an extreme fireworks show, military salute, live band, food vendors, and more. It's all in celebration of Armed Forces Day. The event is at Evans Town Center. Gates open at 5:30. Before you head out, though, make sure you bring a chair, some ear protection, and sunglasses for possible debris. And Riley, please leave the pets at home. Every year someone takes a dog that unfortunately gets spooked by the fireworks and runs away.
Definitely so. Leave them at home and enjoy the show out there. It is worth checking out. That is definitely something I mark on my calendar year after year. Is the best firework display you can see across the country. Best one I've ever seen personally. So looking forward to that heading our way this weekend. Luckily the weather looks okay for Thunder over Evans later this weekend. Very low rain chances Saturday into Sunday. Can't say the same for us the rest of tonight and tomorrow. You can see some dark skies on the horizon here from our Beach Island camera. We are tracking just some isolated hit or miss showers, thunderstorm activity across the region. Another warm day, high temps hitting the 80s right now. If you are heading out the next few hours, temps will stay near 80 for at least through around 6 p.m. and then we'll drop through the 70s and 60s the rest of tonight. Remember, keep the umbrella close by if you're heading out tonight. We are tracking those storm chances through at least around midnight, and then more storms in the forecast Wednesday before we finally start to dry out.
All right, we said we needed the rain.
We
so
did.
I guess we spoke a little too soon because here it comes, a whole lot of it. That's it for this half hour. We're back in a bit with more.
The News 1226 First Alert Radar Network.
With up to 10 times the resolution of other local radars and technology that can pinpoint right down to your street.
First just got faster.
We're ready, so let's...
Thank you for rounding up at Parker's Kitchen to support Wounded Warrior Project. Your donation helps family support members like me receive the life-changing resources and programs we need. Thank you.
You're watching News 12 live at 5. Continues.
We are tracking more storms tonight through tomorrow. Good evening. I'm Meredith Anderson. We're showing you some of those storms on First Alert radar right now. Riley, this is not the news we were hoping for. Some areas are still dealing with the impacts from a tornado yesterday.
Absolutely, Meredith. This has been a very active pattern for us since last Friday, all thanks to a close just a bit.
All right, thank you, Riley. Of course, recovery far from over after the National Weather Service confirms an EF1 tornado tore through Langley early yesterday morning. This is what the fire station there looks like tonight. Parts of it torn apart and thrown across the parking lot. Thankfully, no one was killed or hurt. Your Audrey Dickherber is boots on the ground tonight to see how the town is holding up. Take a look.
It's something you never want to wake up and see damage on your home or property after any sort of severe weather. But community members in Langley tell me it's at times like these that they lean on each other the most. Fallen trees, damaged homes, cars, buildings, and power lines is just some of the destruction seen in Langley after the tornado. Ever since, cleanup has been underway with crews such as electricians, Tree service companies, roofing companies, internet providers, and even neighbors stepping up, some even doing it all for free. One tree service company came out today to see what they could do to help, removing trees at no cost, saying it's important to give back to the community.
And right time they get up one, here comes another one. And we're not talking about people that can afford really to have this done. So that's one reason I am donating the time to the community too. A lot of these are elderly people, they don't have the money. They just went through a disaster, spent all the money they had. Some of them still got roofs off the house.
And coming up all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we'll hear from some neighbors who are doing what they can to help too. In Langley, Audrey Herbert on your side.
Thank you, Audrey. It's not just Langley still reeling. This is video out of Allendale. You can see floodwaters inches deep, meeting people at their doorsteps. We're on your side with a traffic alert tonight as South Carolina DOT has shut down parts of Highway 3 and Highway 278 due to this flooding. We're showing you a map of those closures now. See the roads highlighted in red? Those are the ones closed. Now, those include River Road, Bo Peep Road, and Hannah Street. You can keep a check on road closures in South Carolina on this very website. We have it linked to our website at wrdw.com. Another traffic alert for you tonight. Landing Road in Aiken is also closed, also due to flooding. Aiken County government shared this photo. You're urged to avoid the area and take a different route if you can. Tonight, the fight continues as some who use the Columbia County Library are pushing back on plans to withdraw from the system. It was a packed house, as you can see today, as patrons flooded the library room during a meeting. It comes after the county announced it's becoming its own region. Columbia County Manager Scott Johnson says the reason? Well, it's to keep certain books out of the kids section. Johnson ensures library goers, though, that the new system will continue to operate under the Pine system. That means library goers will still have access to statewide resources, such as Galileo. But some people still have concerns and questions.
I can't help but wonder if this is about restricting books and information. Whether this takes the form of not purchasing books, not displaying certain books, reshelving books and they'll be less accessible, or banning some books altogether.
The next meeting is scheduled for June 10th. Within the last few hours, we learned the name of a man who was found dead inside a condemned home today. The Richmond County Coroner's Office identified him as David Grigg. We're showing you video now of the Harding Road area where the Richmond County Coroner's Office says they found him. Deputies say his friend showed them where he was. They found Grigg dead in the front room of the home. The Coroner's Office described the scene as, quote, unsafe, nasty, and uninhabitable. Tonight, bond denied for the Florida State student accused of the deadly shooting on the campus. It happened nearly a late.
Well, we're keeping a close eye on a few hit or miss storms the rest of today and then again tomorrow, but we finally do see some dry weather by Thursday. Full forecast coming up.
Time and Temp, brought to you by your First Alert weather team. The News 1226 First Alert Radar Network.
With up to 10 times the resolution of other local radars and technology that can pinpoint right down to your street.
First just got faster.
When it matters most, George Sink Injury Lawyers delivers results.
I was rear-ended by a drunk driver. They got me $1.5 million. Go with the name you know and trust.
Get George Sink Law Firm on the line. Call 999-999.
You've been seeing our commercials for months, and while you've been watching homeowners across our area save their roofs and save thousands of dollars, guess what? You can too. Roof Saver's exclusive patent-pending Renew at 17 roof preservation treatment extends the life of your roof by 17 years with just one application and one treatment. Call Roof Savers right now for your free roof inspection to see if your roof qualifies.
This preservation treatment that you have with Roof Savers going forward and a 17-year warranty is absolutely unheard of. Our entire staff and our scientists basically had to check this chemical out before I would even allow it to be sprayed on any home dealing with any veteran or any of our wounded warriors. So that's why I'm doing it first, to be the leader, to let people know that for me to do it, it had to meet every bit of the criteria that we look for in putting our name on it.
America's #1 choice for roof preservation is Roof Savers. Save your roof, save your money.
9 to 5 in the rear view.
Now happy hour has arrived. Let's lead this man to his $6 Popeyes Big Box. That's worth crunch balance.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
George C. Gentry Lawyers delivers results.
I was injured. They got me $774,000.
Go with the name you know and trust.
Get your safe law firm on the line. Call 999-9999.
We'll be back, folks. A live look, and we'll keep those highs near 90 this weekend into early next week.
All right, thanks, Riley. Live at 5, our Sky 12 drone is capturing a live look of what Langley looks like right now. This, of course, after the tornado that we just told you about, a confirmed EF1 tornado touching down around 3:20 or so in the morning. That is the fire department. Yesterday, we told you one of the fire engines was still struck there, but you can see just the haphazardness of a tornado, a place that's destroyed and trees strewn about, and then other places that are completely fine. But Langley has a lot of cleanup left to do, and the good news and the amazing news in all of this, especially because of when it hit, no one was killed, no one was hurt. And especially after all of us going through Helene, I think that is something that we can be especially grateful for, because we know the power of these storms and we know just how dangerous they can be. Governor Henry McMaster has now signed 2 major bills into law. One to ensure South Carolina has enough power to keep the lights on, and the other to help struggling bars and restaurants. They're among the top priorities that lawmakers finished during this year's legislative session. Your State House reporter Mary Green explains what these will mean for you.
Just before the legislative session ended here at 5 p.m. on Thursday, senators finalized a compromise late Wednesday night on one of the top priorities for the year. It's an agreement between the Senate's tort reform bill and the House's liquor liability bill that just last week one leading lawmaker said was going to take a miracle to get done.
This represents an awful lot of hard work. This legislation is fair from all sides.
Part of the bill aims to address skyrocketing liquor liability insurance costs that have made it unaffordable for many bars and restaurants across the state to stay open. The compromise keeps in place a 2017 requirement that bars and restaurants that serve alcohol maintain a $1 million liability policy. But they will offer new opportunities for them to lower that amount if they meet certain steps, like if they stop serving alcohol before midnight. This agreement will also enact mandatory alcohol server training and other steps designed to reduce premiums.
Well, this is a step in the right direction.
The compromise also keeps a major component of the Senate's tort reform bill, joint and several liability, which deals with which parties can be held responsible in lawsuits. As part of that, it amended an existing carve-out in state law that put bars and restaurants on the hook for a significantly outsized portion of damages in drunk driving lawsuits.
What happens is the bar gets sued, they get stuck with all the damages, even though there's clearly a drunk driver who contributed to the plaintiff's injuries. They get stuck with 100% of it. What this would do is it would cap it at 50% as opposed to 100.
While Sender's original bill included several more topics like medical malpractice and auto insurance, they were all dropped from the final version, with a promise the House would take up these issues next year. The bill next heads to Governor Henry McMaster, who is expected to sign it into law. Most of it would go into effect January 1st of next year. Reporting from the State House, I'm Mary Green.
If you visit, live, or work in Augusta, Richmond County, listen up. The city wants your 2 cents on how you want the area to look. Questions include your top priorities for downtown Augusta and struggles you may experience in the city. You can give your feedback on the Zoning Ordinance Update Survey. I want to show you what that looks like, because that's a very complicated name for a pretty simple survey that you're looking at right now. You can complete it now through June 1st. It lists 11 questions about development in Augusta. We've got the survey linked on our website, wrdw.com. Just search zoning ordinance. In the aftermath of Helene, Augusta city leaders have announced the closure of the Riverwalk starting tomorrow. This is for some cleanup efforts there. Officials say the work is expected to last 2 weeks. The Saturday market will still go on during its normal hours.
Well, look at that. 5 Fridays in May. You know what that means? An extra paycheck. Don't squander that money. I'm Jamie Tucker. Coming up, I'm looking at some tech upgrades that make a lot of sense.
First Alert Rate Hire, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
Our Wednesday. Back to dry weather though by Thursday, and then we're starting to look at some summer heat as we close out the week. Highs in the mid and low 90s through the weekend starting Friday.
All right, summer's here, I guess. If you haven't checked the calendar lately, there are 5 Fridays in the month of May, which means if you have a monthly budget, it might feel like you get some extra money. 5 Fridays in a month. It's fairly rare, happening just twice a year. Many people use the extra paycheck for a vacation or paying down debt. But our consumer tech reporter, Jamie Tucker, has another idea. Upgrade your tech.
Yeah, if you get paid every 2 weeks, some months have 3 paydays. This is one of them. And if your budget is based on 2 paychecks, that third one kind of feels like extra money. Well, instead of just throwing that money away, how about investing it in some tech gadgets to make everyday life better? Let's start with a smart thermostat. If you're still using a 20-year-old model, you could be wasting money every month. Smart thermostats are easier to program, and you can control them with your phone or your voice. We'll set my thermostat for 67 degrees. And many models also adjust automatically when you leave home and bring the temperature back up before you walk in the door. Another smart investment is a Wi-Fi garage door opener. These let you open or close the garage from your phone and can even allow Amazon delivery drivers to place packages inside safely. They're easy to install and start around $30. Working from home or spending hours at your desk, a new ergonomic mouse can reduce wrist strain and help prevent carpal tunnel. They're designed to keep your hand in a more natural position, and there are several styles to choose from, so it's a good idea to test one before you buy. If you deal with allergies, a small desktop air purifier can make a big difference. These compact units are great for cleaning the air in a home office or bedroom. Many connect to an app or a smart speaker to adjust based on air quality. And finally, how's your internet speed? If you're still using the router your internet provider gave you years ago, upgrading to a new dual band or mesh Wi-Fi router can eliminate dead zones and make everything from streaming to Zoom calls run smoother and faster. They're a lot more secure too. So when that third paycheck arrives, a little tech upgrade can go a long way to save money and save time. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
The next month with 5 Fridays isn't until October, by the way, just in time for the holiday shopping season. The skies have opened up, and so have the chances for our local teams' playoffs hopes. Alyssa?
A lot of our games that were supposed to take place on Saturday, your district championships, all suspended due to that rain. Those games are now back on tonight. In Class 4A softball, the lower state District D bracket had 3 of our local teams playing against one another. North Augusta, Midland Valley, and South Aiken. Midland Valley sent North Augusta to the losers bracket. South Florence sent South Aiken to meet them there. North Augusta beat South Aiken, and Midland Valley lost to South Florence. So for the 3rd time in the lower state District D bracket, North Augusta will meet another region opponent in Midland Valley.
You just don't want to give up for your teammates, and I think that's gonna. Both teams are gonna feel that way. It's an elimination game, right? So as long as you do it to the last out, can't be mad at that. Everybody comes to play. Nobody wants their season to end, so it doesn't matter who you're playing. Everybody's gonna play better.
While North Augusta girls softball tries to avoid double elimination, the Jackets baseball team will host Gilbert at home for the lower state District A championship.
I'm Mike Hostelone, and all car wrecks are serious.
Welcome back in, folks. Going back to our radar network, we do have a complex of storms moving west to east across the central CS area. It's impacting Jefferson County. What I'm also looking at on radars, there's an outflow boundary moving south to north into our southern counties. So once these start to converge, that will likely pop up more activity across the area. So once again, we are tracking storm chances the rest of this evening up until about midnight tonight. Just make sure you're keeping an eye to the sky if you're going to be out and about across the area. Still a pretty chaotic environment where these can easily pop up. Closer look at Jefferson County. So what we're looking at here, a little Boeing segment. That lightning picked up for a little bit. So some heavy rain, some strikes of lightning about to cross over Highway 1. That's going to be heading towards Burke and Richmond County next. So just a heads up for us here, a little bit closer towards Augusta. Live look over the lake. They're also dealing with a few downpours right now across Wilkes and Lincoln County. You can see that from our tower cam at the moment. So just keep that umbrella close by if you're going to be out tonight. Temperature wise, we're near 80 degrees. Going to stay pretty warm for the rest of this evening. Only going going to drop our temperatures to the mid-60s as we head past midnight tonight. More storms in the forecast for your Wednesday, so a heads up of finally dry weather returns by Thursday.
Hey, we'll take it. We need some dry weather. Thanks for that, Riley. And thanks for joining us for News 12 Live at 5. We're so glad you did. News 12 at 6 o'clock is coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Severe weather season is here, but you're good. You'll get the First Alert with forecasts where you live. WRDW First Alert weather on your side.
Life isn't a whisper. It's a roar. It's about getting your hands dirty, taking risks that thrill, and planning the adventure that awaits the next day. Life is a precious, playful thing, which means it's our job to explore it, to nurture it, and preserve it, but also to let loose and enjoy it. Riverbank Zoo and Garden. Live a wild life.